Hi, my name is Jason Wampler, and it never ceases to amaze me how hard people have to try to suppress free speech on the media. And people just go to no ends to keep other people from talking and speaking freely. Um, there is no such thing as shock value anymore. You're my age. I'm 53 years old, and I've seen a lot. Um, and I got to tell you, this world is not censored or edited. Um, but anyway, I'm not doing this for political commentary. What this is the Rocket Minute. My show, it was derailed. I tried a bunch of other things, Rock and Roll Minute, and I got to tell you, I'm not an authority on rock and roll. Dime store psychology. Well, the honest to goodness truth is, I'd rather just spend my time writing books about psychology and what I understand. But I will tell you a little bit about myself. I've been building experimental rockets, very small scale experimental rockets, 1/25th scale, micro launch vehicles, high powered sport rockets, hobby rockets, basically. And, what else? Sounding rocket prototypes. Now, sounding rockets are very difficult to build, and there's a really finite market for them. That looks a little better. Um, but I have a very strong interest in rockets only because, for whatever reason, I absolutely love it. But, I live in Fullerton County, Fullerton City, the city of Fullerton, California, in Orange County. And, if you start to tell people about what you do a little bit too much, you show how enthusiastic you are about building rockets. Excuse me. People in this area they tend to get a little bit afraid. Back in 2019, the latter part of 2019, uh, right before the COVID-19 scare began. So I'm not going to get political about that. I promise I don't talk about religion, politics, or sex, or weapons. Um, Excuse me, I know it's gross. Um, I'm not a very refined individual. Even at 53, I haven't learned any manners. Um, I was basically labeled a local terrorist because I had the ability to design and build rockets off the front porch of the house I was renting a room at. I have an apartment now in Fullerton, but I need to move again. People are very, very, very afraid of people like me who have the knowledge and skills to build rockets from anything from a broom with a metal handle, a couple of PCV pipes, and car funnels, and cut up 50-cent plastic plates you get from Target. Those are great, by the way. Yeah, my arm's getting tired. I'm 53 years old. And that's old age for you. Um, I want to share my rockets with you. I want to be careful about who it is that I share these rockets with. I'm just going to hold it like this because my right arm or my left arm is getting a little tired. I'm building or in the process of building four different rocket airframes, three of which are, well, two of which are designed for my group, SCRA, Southern California Rocketry Association. They're affiliated with NAR, National Association of Rocketry. You can look them online, look them up online. They're an American based club. You have to buy a membership to. They take care of all these sport rocket and model rocket launch events. And these rockets actually launch off a pad, electrically ignited solid fuel rocket motors. Um, Nobody does high power experimental rocketry with National Association of Rocketry. That is another group. They're called Tripoli. Tripoli Rocketry Group, or Tripoli Rocketry Association. They're international. And now Tripoli has an experimental group, a high-powered experimental group. However, what's similar between what's the same, what NAR and Tripoli both have in common, you have to have your certifications. Level 1, which is what I have through Tripoli. I got it at Plaster Blaster back in 1998 with Andy Werner, when his wife was still alive. And if you're watching this, I'm very sorry to hear about your wife. I know it was a long time ago. but I don't have my level 2 or 3 certification. So one of the 4 rockets I'm building is a level 2 certification. A level 2 certification for NAR and Tripoli, you have to take a written test. You have to pass it. Then you have to fly. Basically, you have to launch and successfully recover a level 2 rocket, which runs on a J or a H, I. Well, no, not an H, an I. I want to say an I or J or even K or even L motor. Um, H motors, the biggest H motor you can get is an H180, and that's for level 1 certification. The smallest I motor you can get is an I200, I believe. I'm not sure if I flew my level 1 certification rocket on a Desert Fire 29 millimeter, um, like 12-inch long I100 or H100. I'm not sure. I don't know. I used to have the picture of myself actually getting the level 1 certification. My dad was behind me. He took it. I wasn't wearing my shirt. This was in Placer City, northern part of San Diego County. It was hot. It was overcast and it was still blazing hot. And I don't look very good with my shirt off. I was younger then. I'm older now, and I look even worse without my shirt off. But that was my level 1 certification. Now that can carry over to NAR, but with NAR. I just do sport rocketry. FCRA meets at Santa Fe Dam Recreational Area. We do need some positive publicity. Sport rocketry, model rocketry, high-powered rocketry. It needs basically it needs positive. It needs a positive image. It needs a little bit more promotion. We have kind of skinny groups at SCRA at the Santa Fe Dam Recreational Area. I don't know what city it is, but it's off the like the 57 and the 60, starting in between like San Bernardino, Riverside County, or it might be, gosh, I want to say, like the southeasternmost tip of Los Angeles County. It might be that. Last time I went there, there were early morning events on Sunday. Last time I went there, fascinating enough, I saw a group of coyotes hunting at around 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. and they were walking through a business park. It was on a Sunday, so there was no one there, but I could tell they were coyotes by the way they were walking. There was a group of 5 of them, and the nice lady taking the park entrance fee at the booth. She saw the same thing I did, and we exchanged a few pleasant words about what we saw. And I'd never seen a pack of coyotes like that. But Santa Fe Dam Recreational Area. Now the gentleman who runs it, he lives in Fullerton himself, the same city I live in. So, and he sent me a newsletter a while back. I really want to get a hold of him to get the schedule of events because I do have a couple of rockets that I want to try out. Now I have a new motor loading system, and I'll share that later. But I want to make sure that I establish some repertoire. And I don't want to be viewed as a terrorist. I am not a terrorist. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm religious. I don't like to talk about religion, but sometimes you have to declare your own spiritual faith. Now, God, my hair looks even more controlled now than it did before, and I don't like that. Um, but I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm a Christian. Nonviolent individual, no military involvement, no political involvement, et cetera, et cetera. I read the Bible every day. I'm not preaching about Christianity either. I don't like the way other people sound when they do that. But anyway, I'm getting more notifications from Facebook, and I got to tell you, Facebook kicks me off for the 6th time in a row. I got to tell you, I'm going to do some stand-up comedy about that. Facebook, they just, I don't know why the world is filled with people who have to feel like they need to make rules. Interestingly enough, some people, they have the need, they feel the need to control other people. And this is an aspect of human psychology I have not explored yet. I don't know what it's like to have that kind of feeling, to just need to control people, like everybody else still needs training wheels on their tricycles, and they're 14-year-olds that need to be told to keep the music down and so forth. It's funny how, especially in Southern California, where I believe Facebook is based. I'm in Southern California. No, excuse me, I'm in California. Facebook, I don't think they are. No, they're in Central and Northern California. But in the state of California in the United States, Californians are very, very strange. They have a need to make rules and feel like they can control other people. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's an earmark of Californians only, but they're just it just doesn't make any sense. These are the censorship. If you're trying to protect children from the F word or the S word, well, guess what? I learned those two words in in preschool, in elementary school, where there were children who were the ones who were supposed to be protected from hearing these words. Well, they made it up. That's where I learned how to cuss from other 6-year-old or 8-year-old kids. So censorship really does not make any. I'm swishing through my hair again. Censorship doesn't make any sense. But this isn't a political program. Um, Next month, when I get paid, I may invest in a GoPro camera because I want to wear something on my head and just kind of, for the Rocket Man, I kind of want to show how you start to build a basic rocket. And we're going to go through the steps of building level one. Basically, we're going to go over the steps of building a G-powered rocket, a G80 powered rocket. That's something, if you're not certified, G80 powered rocket is the largest rocket. We're not the G80 is the designation of a motor at 80 newtons of total impulse. That's burn time times pressure, which is basically the amount of thrust the motor generates times the amount of time that motor burns and generates that thrust. So G80 is a designation of the size class based on the total impulse, which is what I just explained earlier. A G80 is the largest motor you can get. So if you build a rocket that's too heavy for a G80, you really can't fly it without getting certified. You need your level 1 certification through everything up to I guess, I want to say an I-200. I'm not really clear on that. You get your level 2 certification, you're cleared to fly a large rocket up to JKL, an L motor, which is very, very powerful. Now you're talking about hundreds or thousands of dollars for a commercial grade high powered model rocket. They have to do a background check on you. There's shipping fees. There's hazmat fees. There's a waiting list, and it's very politically complicated and expensive. I'm just wiping that off the screen. Go away. Thank you. Go away. Well, this thing has just too many features. But that's level 2. That the written exam and the rocket. You have to launch a rocket with a level 2 motor, and you have to successfully recover it. Now, level 2 rockets are the only rockets, the last rockets before your level 3, that you don't have to use what's called payload bay electronics or recovery system electronics. Level 3 rockets, you cannot find an M class or more powerful 98 millimeter diameter rocket motor with separation charge at its head. The motors are too big. 98 millimeters in diameter is basically the same size as a small coffee can. These are really, really powerful motors. The smallest ones start at an Aerotech M1214, I believe, or could have those numbers reversed to 14, an Aerotech M1412. Again, I'm not clear on that because I'm still probably about 2 or 3 years away from my level 3 certification, but I want to get it, and I want to hang out with Tripoli and get into more experimental rocketry. I have the 2 rocket airframes that I'm level 1 certified for, but at the Santa Fe Dam Recreational Area, the biggest rocket you can launch is anything with a single motor up to G80 powered, and that's what these 2 rockets are designed for. So I have to just retrofit the fitting system, but it's really nifty. So anyway, so that's pretty much my story, and that's what I'm about. I want to do more face-to-face the rocket minutes, and I kind of want to share with you what I'm building, but I want to be careful about it because this is almost like showing people how to make dynamite, how to machine a simple handgun, or make a high-powered slingshot, or something like an EMP bomb. The Anarchist Cookbook is something I don't know if anybody's familiar with, but the person who published that or the person who wrote that book, and the people who assisted that individual in getting it published, I think you can still get it. They weren't doing anybody a big favor. People like myself whose sole interest is in rocketry, not missiles, nothing military, religious, or political, just for scientific research. And my goals or dreams are like to launch a micro launch vehicle in Black Rock, Nevada, where the service ceiling is 80,000 feet. The AGL waiver is 80,000 feet. I'll talk about that later. But I want to build micro launch vehicles. I have a working scale airframe of one of those right now. I'll show you later. And basically put tennis ball size micro satellites into orbit, support something like global satellites, a network of global satellites that support satellite phone service, affordable satellite phone service. So very idealistic. Unfortunately, these kind of ideas get capitalized on by United States military first. This technology, if it's cutting edge, is used by the military first. So that's my catch-22. I want to avoid that. As one of Jehovah's Witnesses, no military involvement whatsoever. I just can't do it. My grandfather was a Marine fighter pilot. I love him. I miss him very much. I'm very proud of him. I brag about him being a former U.S. Marine. My father, who's still alive, is a Vietnam vet. I worked with the Navy. He was with the Navy. One or two tours on an information boat. I'm very, very proud of him for his military service. But again, my stance on nonviolence and not taking the life of another person. I'm sorry. I wouldn't join the military myself. But if when I get the opportunity, I'd like to get a hold of my dad and wish him a happy Memorial Day. I'd like to tell him thank you for your service and thank you for my freedom. I love my dad very much. Unfortunately, I can't really get a hold of him right now, but I'll work that out too. His name is Clinton Samuel Armstrong, and he's exactly 24 years older than I am. So if I told you how old I was, then you can do the math. You can find out how old he is. So, but Dad, if you ever see this video, I need you to call me, okay? 714-365-0084. My email is Wampler Design and Engineering at Wampler Design and Engineering Group at yahoo.com, or Jason David Wampler Armstrong at yahoo.com. By the way, guys, you can call me anytime you want, leave a message. You can contact me either one of those two emails as well. I said that for my dad, but that's for you guys as well. Anyway, this has been the Rocket Minute. This is an introduction. I have to be consistent about it, and I've said this a couple times before, that this is the only YouTube channel I'm going to settle on, is the Rocket Minute with Jason Wampler. Every once in a while, I'll showcase my two kitties and their antics. For whatever reason, the moment I leave this seat, only after I've used my blue office chair, it's only after I've used my blue office chair, either Valencia or Paxton. Paxton is also a young girl kitty too. They have an interesting relationship. They love each other very much. They're like sisters. But when they see me using the chair and I'm involved in what I'm doing on the chair, well, for whatever reason, they have to take the chair from me. So I'm going to introduce you to Paxton and Valencia as well. They're my two little girls. Now, they're like daughters to me. I don't know how that works, but I just love them so much. And unless they want something, they'll be running around and pacing and jumping up and down on the bed and playing with each other if they're hungry. And I know that I have to get up and I have to feed them. I feed them tuna fish. I tried to feed them beef jerky and they wouldn't eat that. But I'll introduce you to them later on. Every Sunday night at 10 p.m., you can count on a brand new video. This is called Jason Wampler. It's called The Rocket Minute with Jason Wampler. I upload to YouTube. And, hopefully I'm not going to encounter any more political interference with people who just feel that they just absolutely positively need to fear and control me. It's just the most unusual aspect of human behavior I've ever seen. It's contrary to any form of logic that I can understand, or any type of thinking that I can understand. I think it's illogical, but the strangest thing, you talk to me, you get to know someone like me. I'm pretty much the exact opposite. I'm 180 degrees the exact opposite of any other person or man my age. I don't get it. I don't get it. This Western culture, it's just not something I'm compatible with. But that's it. I can't leave videos on Facebook. Facebook, they're too controlling. I don't know what their deal is, but if they want to kick me off Facebook for the sixth time in a row, hey, you guys, you're welcome to it. But stay the hell away from my phone. If you run interference on my phone, you wreck my phone again, Mark. I'm coming after you. I mean it. All right, that's it. We've got the 20-minute mark. My name is Jason Wampler. Excuse me. This has been the Rocket Minute.